77 million army heartbroken. Jungkook officially leaves. Jimin can't hold back tears. This emotional moment has shaken the hearts of the entire world. When Jungkook, one of the members of BTS, finally left the military base, the atmosphere there was filled not only with silence, but also with the deep cries of his close friend, Jimin. What exactly happened? Why couldn't Jimin hold back his tears? What is the meaning behind this farewell that has caused armies all over the world to be overwhelmed with sadness? This is the story that has touched everyone's heart. That morning, the sky above the military base seemed grim, covering everything beneath it. The soldiers appeared busy with their routines, but it all seemed to stop when a black car entered the area. From the vehicle stepped out a man dressed entirely in black, his face covered by a mask, but from a distance, Army instantly recognized him, Jungkook. Without saying much, he walked towards the gate to meet someone he missed dearly, Jimin. The silence surrounding their meeting was so heavy, as if a burden was in the air. No words came from either of them, only glances filled with deep meaning. Normally, their meetings were always greeted with wide smiles and laughter, but this time, there was none of that. Jimin, who was usually cheerful, looked very different, his face showing profound sadness. His eyes seemed to speak more than words could express. Jungkook, who had seemed calm earlier, slowly extended his hand to Jimin, a small smile forming on his face. However, when Jimin ran towards him and hugged him tightly, everything changed. Jimin's tears began to flow uncontrollably. His cry was so sincere and heartbreaking, not just tears, but his shoulders were shaking, his voice choked, and his face buried in Jungkook's chest. The silence grew even heavier, and although some soldiers watching the moment remained quiet, perhaps not fully understanding the depth of their bond, one thing was clear. This was not just an ordinary farewell. Jungkook stood still, allowing Jimin to release all of his emotions. At that moment, the whole world watching from afar could feel that something bigger was happening behind this parting. As time passed, their gazes remained focused on each other, but Jimin couldn't stop crying. In Jungkook's embrace, he tried to pull himself together, though his sobs only became more heartbreaking. When Jimin finally raised his face, his red, tear-streaked eyes revealed just how deeply he felt. Jungkook gently wiped away Jimin's tears and said, "I have to go." Those words seemed to mark the end of a chapter they didn't want to admit. At that moment, Jimin broke into sobs again. After some time, Jimin didn't move, only standing there, staring at the car that was slowly driving away. His expression was empty, full of silence that seemed to radiate a profound sense of loss. When the car finally disappeared from view, the hearts of armies all over the world shattered. Was this truly the end of their meeting? The moment immediately spread across social media, triggering thousands of comments from fans who couldn't hold back their sadness. Why are they so sad? Why is Jimin crying so much? What really happened? These questions haunted the minds of armies. Fans from all over the world flocked to post emotional comments. Many assumed that this was Jungkook's last meeting with Jimin for a long time, while others felt that something bigger than just an ordinary farewell was happening. Despite this, neither Jungkook nor Jimin has provided any explanation regarding the farewell. Their silence only increased the speculation among fans. What really happened between them? Is this really an inevitable farewell, or is there something else being kept secret? Speculation began to spread rapidly, and every time a photo or video appeared, the sense of anxiety deepened. AS fans, we couldn't stop crying when witnessing that moment. Many felt pain seeing Jimin so emotional, and at that time, many wondered if this was really their last goodbye. Most of armies hoped that this was just temporary, that one day they would reunite without tears, but with greater happiness. However, this moment also raises an inevitable big question. Is this all real? Or is there some media manipulation behind it all? Some fans felt that the emotions displayed by Jimin and Jungkook were so dramatic, even bigger than they should have been. Given that both of them are idols who are used to the attention of cameras and fans, why do they seem so emotional this time? Is this just acting or pure emotion? It's not just fans who feel anxious and confused. Many are questioning why there hasn't been an official statement from BTS's agency or either of them after such an emotional moment. Usually, when something like this happens, the agency would give clarification to avoid misunderstandings among fans. Why didn't that happen this time? Was this allowed to unfold so that speculation could grow? In this digital age, where social media is the breeding ground for public opinion, we often find ourselves trapped in viral news that doesn't always have solid evidence. Even though this moment touched the hearts of many, we need to be wise in handling it. When faced with viral news, it's important for us not to immediately believe everything we see on social media without verifying its truth. As fans, we must be critical and rational in consuming information while still showing empathy for our idols. However, one thing is certain: this parting has a huge impact on ARMYs all over the world. The bond between Jungkook and Jimin seems much deeper than we imagined. Whether this moment is real or just a media setup, it will remain remembered in the history of ARMY and the K-pop world. All we can do now is hope that this is not the end of everything and that one day, they will return together, stronger than ever. The story we've just discussed is truly touching, isn't it? The emotions clearly portrayed in every scene of Jungkook and Jimin's final meeting, where tears, hugs, and expressions of deep sadness have swept every fan away. Yet, after everything we've read and witnessed, there's one big question we must ask ourselves. Is this really a genuine and real farewell? Or is this just media manipulation to draw attention and create a sensation? Perhaps, like many other fans, you feel shocked or even anxious seeing how Jimin fought back tears and how the surrounding atmosphere was filled with such deep sadness. But in a world where information spreads so quickly, how can we be sure that what we see and read is the true reality? In the era of social media and viral content, we are often caught in confusion between fact and fiction. We need to remember that not everything we see on social media or platforms like YouTube is the full reality. There's a lot of information that is not always verified or even fabricated to create a sensation that grabs attention. Maybe you're starting to wonder, did this moment really happen as we imagined? Or is it just part of a media strategy to attract more fans and public attention? Some might feel that this is a deliberate attempt to create a more dramatic and emotional narrative. Of course, there's nothing wrong with showing the human side of idols, but as fans, are we critical enough to distinguish between what's real and what's just a fabrication to gain more spotlight? Could it be that the images and videos circulating only add to the dramatization done by the media or certain sources to create a sellable story? When a video or photo goes viral, we often find ourselves caught up in the emotions it evokes, lingering in speculation about what really happened. Such an emotional event can easily affect our feelings, and we begin to get lost in confusion about whether what we're seeing is reality or just a media construct. So, is this a true and heartfelt story? Or is it just a concoction designed to attract media attention and fans? We're waiting for your reactions and thoughts. What do you think about this emotional moment? Do you believe it's real, or just a hoax created for sensational purposes? Share your opinions in the comments, and let's discuss further. Thank you for taking the time to read and reflect with us.